Yo, YouTubers, right? This is a brilliant little comparison. You know, because I bought a new guitar, right? This thing, the Hofner Shorty. I had a bit of a brainwave, right? I'm getting used to it. The strings are too heavy. I will never. And my advice to anyone out there, I'm telling you, any of you out there, if you're watching this, right? I always remember my nephew saying to me that my guitar was my old Fender Strat was the nicest guitar he ever played, right? And do you know what I keep thinking? He might be using that gauge 9 strings or gauge 10 strings or whatever, right? And there was always gauge 8 strings on that Fender Strat, and it had a Cala professional tremolo as well, but it was down to the gauge of the strings, because it wasn't perfectly set up, that Strat. It wasn't like the best. My action is better on the old Hofner Shorty, to be honest. It's mind-blowing, like. I couldn't get the action that low on me Fender Strat. But it's one major factor, right? If you're watching this, you know what I mean? This special message to you, like, get yourself some gauge 8 strings. They make a massive difference. Because I've got 9s or 10s on this, you know, because as standard. I've got to use them. I can't waste them and just take them off the guitar. Look, here's my recommendation. This is what I'm not sponsored by anyone, you know, folks. But look, these extra slinkies, they're called. Ernie Ball extra slinkies. I've been using them for years now, you know what I mean? And they're probably the best you can buy. But gauge 8's, you know, your preferred make or whatever. Quality strings make a difference. They make a massive difference, right? So check them out, extra slinkies, gauge 8 strings. I'm sure whatever guitar you're using will be set up. If the intonation's set up or whatever, it should be alright, whether, you know, if you change the gauge of strings from 9 to 8s. It's only when you're using a tremolo or a whammy bar or Floyd Rose and things like that you have to, like, you know, you've got to readjust the bridge and all that kind of stuff. This is Guitar Advice Corner today, by the way, folks, right? Guitar Advice Corner. Right, but these strings on this, mate, I love the guitar. It's great, got no complaints about it, right? I've been playing it, been getting into it, checking it out. I'm never going to get used to heavy strings. The only time I can handle heavy strings is on an acoustic guitar, you know what I mean? Because it's always a little bit heavier on acoustics, isn't it? You know, like just a normal acoustic. I love playing Spanish guitars as well, you know, nylon strings, right? And they're always kind of, you know, because they're not metal strings generally, they always feel kind of nice and comfortable. Spanish strings, comfortable at nighter. Feel a little bit comfortable at nighter. But anyway, there's 9s or 10s on this, right? And I don't know the quality. I wish they put the packets in there so you know what they are, you know what I mean, when you buy them and that way. Don't know what they are. They're decent strings. They sound okay, if you know what I mean. But, man, it's like cheese wire. It's like, it's horrific. I'll never get used to it, especially when I'm playing down there and I'm bending notes there, you know what I mean. Look, man, I'll give you an example while I'm on. This is going to be a little bit of a graphic lesson, this, right? Trying to snap them on purpose. I don't want to waste them. But that's my advice to you, right? You know, if my nephew's watching this, right, special message for you, right? You were probably blown away by the gauge 8 strings on that Fender. I'm telling you, that's honestly, check it out, try it. Stick gauge 8s on any of your guitars as a test. The ones with tremolos, you might, you know what I mean? You've got to readjust your trems and take, say you're using gauge 9 strings, say this had a tremolo on it, right, like a Strat or something, right, and I was using 9 strings, and that bridge is floating there, if you know what I mean, on the you know, that's what, you know, like Jeff Beck, you keep your bridge floating, not against the wood, and you can bend them backwards, then you can go, woo, you know what I mean, up or down kind of thing, right? But if you've got a Stratocaster or whatever with a tremolo on, and you change from 9s to 8s, immediately that bridge is going to be down against the wood, and you've got to take a spring out from the back, you know, the springs in the back. Take one spring out and it'll counterbalance it, and then when you tune it up, it should be floating like it was with the gauge 9s or 10s or whatever, the heavier gauges, like them springs in the back of the tremolo. You can always take one out, you see, the one in the middle. Don't never take the one on either end, you know what I mean? They usually have 3 springs in them, don't they? Sometimes there's 4, sometimes there's 5, I don't know, you know, it depends on how heavy your strings are, right? But that's my best advice for you if you're watching, right? Get a set of extra slinkies, right? Just put a set of them on your guitar. If your guitar's set up and your intonation's alright, and the neck's alright and straight and everything, you should see the difference immediately. But that's what I think. You had this thing, he did tell me once, he said, your Fender Strat was the best guitar I've ever played in my life. And it wasn't a mind-blowing guitar, you know, it was a nice neck. It was customised, I had to customise it when I bought it, it was crap. I paid like £300 for the guitar, no, £400, 1984. For the Fender Strat that I didn't like when I got home. I was actually disappointed. I bought a new tremolo for it, I bought new pickups for it, you know what I mean? It was crap. You know what I mean? That's my advice to anyone, like, I had to customise it, like. But I always had gauge 8 strings on it. And I bet you that's what it is, I bet you. So that's my best advice to you. If you haven't tried these already, give it a go. Any of your guitars without any tremolos on, it shouldn't matter, it should be alright. Give it a go, I'm telling you, you'll probably be blown away, because I absolutely hate this thing while it's got these strings on. It's horrible. It's like, oh, you'll know what I mean if you do it. Like, they're just so nice and easy to bend and send. They just feel better, gauge 8s, and they sound better in my opinion, you know what I mean? It's not to do with you haven't got the strength, you know what I'm saying? I could acclimatise to these, but they're only useful when you've got like a Floyd Rose, you know, a Floyd Rose tremolo with a lock-in trem, a whammy bar, and you go, whoa, 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 do you know what I mean? That's the only time heavy strings are useful, because you could be bending the strings back, you know, like pulling the tension, and you don't want them to snap. If you're not going to be bothered with any tremolos or whammy bar stuff or whatever, get some gauge. That's the best advice I can give you, you know what I mean? But anyway, let's get back on with the true meaning of this video, right? I bought this the other day, as you know, right? And the pickup's great, you know, Creamy Pumpkins is working just fine. Here we go. You know, great guitar. It's all there, everything I need, right? Now, here's the brilliant bit, right? It's not shielded, right? Obviously, you know when you buy a cheap guitar, if you buy a good guitar, they shield them usually. You open the electrics and take the scratch plates off, and they're usually completely shielded. Shielded means you've got copper tape or whatever inside the cavities where all the electrics are, or, you know. I'll do a separate video on it later on and talk about it in more detail, right, about the importance of shielding, right. But this guitar is not shielded, right, as standard out the box. You take the scratch plate off, there's probably a bit of shielding underneath there, where, you know, like a bit of silver foil or whatever above the, you know, just under the volume pots and that, stuck on the scratch plate. They always put some kind of basic shielding in there. But a good guitar will be shielded, and you can get paint the shields as well. So if none of your guitars are shielded, and you get any interference from like signals, phone, you know, someone uses a phone and it goes beep 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 beep, and you pick it up and you're sitting there. You could be doing a studio recording, you know what I mean? You've just been like you've recorded a 10-minute piece of guitar work, and you get to the end and you're just playing a nice little bit of lead, and someone uses a phone and it goes beep 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 beep. That's because your guitar's not shielded, right? Or your cable's not shielded. It's important to buy cables that are shielded, right? They make a massive difference, folks. I'm going to show you how, right? Or show you exactly, prove it, like. I mean, I made up that I tested this to see, right? Not shielded at all, right? Mulder Hofner, Blackie. By the way, the pickup on this, right, folks, highly recommend them. I'm not doing adverts or not, honestly, I'm not sponsored, but I put that in myself, you know, to kind of like, you know, a bit more quality to it, like. It's a company called Iron Gear, right? So check them out, Iron Gear, on online, Iron Gear, right? This one's called a Hot Slag, right? You know, hot metal, hot slag, you know what I mean? It's got nothing to do with women, obviously. It's called a Hot Slag anyway, and it's got an Alnico 5 magnet in it, and it sounds fantastic, and it feels fantastic. The only thing I don't like about it is, you know, these covers, they get dirty, you gotta polish them, and they get rusty and shit, like, you know what I mean? So, bit of a pain in that sense, like, but I want it to be black and gold, you know what I mean? So, if anyone's curious what this pickup is, it's called an Iron Gear Hot Slag, right? And they're cheap, right, folks? The company it's absolutely, compared to Seymour Duncan or DiMarzio, here's some more advice for you. I got the tip of someone else, another guitarist on YouTube, I can't remember his name, he's like a heavy metal guitar player, and he said, like, you know, check out Iron Gear pickups. They're cheap, mate, and they've got every kind of pickup for whatever you need. CZ Top, the Blues, Dire Straits, whatever you need, they're out there, like. I got this because it's kind of like an old school rock and roll pickup, you know. Well, sorry, rock music pickup, right? Hot slag, you can get them silver, you can get them nickel, whatever, you can get them, you know. And the cover on these, remember, it insulates, that's part of the insulation. You know, when people take the covers off humbucking pickups, it's part of the insulation, they're usually welded on, you know what I mean? It's another little bit of advice for you. You know, people take the cover off the pickups. Don't ever do that, man, you know what I mean? Leave them on. Right, now, I had no choice, but this one is shielded, right, folks? I opened this up myself here, it was meticulously, it took me ages putting the little bits of, you know, the copper in there to shield it, like, do you want me to, I'll show you what, anyway, I'll show you what I mean, anyway. This is going to be a long video, this, you know, because I'm using my high-def camera. I'm using my high-def camera, you see. So, it might be a bit longer, you know, to upload or whatever, like, but best advice I can give anyone out there, right, folks? Hold on. Brucey's Guitar Lessons, right? I should open a separate channel. I should do a separate channel. Please forgive my attire and my scruffiness and my ugliness. I'm not like, you know. I should open a separate channel just with guitar tips, you know what I mean? I've got tons of guitar tips for people on a low budget, right, folks? But anyway, this is what you need, right? You can get paint as well. You know, paint and it insulates, you know what I mean? But old school copper. It's quite a magical substance, copper. Do you know copper? You know this stuff? You know, let's just say I had arthritis and I stuck this all over my body. My arthritis would go. Did you know that? The copper can actually cure arthritis. Little known fact. But anyway, this stuff, look at that roll, mate. There's tons on it, man. And you peel the back off. And and it's very fine, it's like gold leaf, it's really fine, right? But you insulate the inside of the cavity of your guitar, all the electronic parts, you can do it, all of it, all the inside of the guitar that's out of sight. If you've got a Stratocaster, I'd actually advise insulating even the tremolo part, you know, where the springs are. I'd put it all over the guitar, man, right? And it shields it from interference, right? Now, it takes a while. You can get it done in a guitar shop. You can ask, you know, a reputable guitar customized shop or whatever, you know, custom shop. They'll do it for you, you know what I mean, if you don't want to do it yourself. But if you want me to do it, give me a shout, you know what I mean. People know, people I'm related to, you know what I mean. I'll do it for you for free, you know what I mean. You know the score. But anyway, get this stuff, man. Copper. Dead cheap on eBay. I got this on eBay. Very cheap, right? It's real copper, you know what I mean. And you insulate. Look how thick it is, man. Tons of the stuff. Well, right, you buy that on eBay, get every guitar you've got, open them up, insulate them, right? Now I'm going to show you the proof of what difference it makes, right? Because me Blackie, black and gold, is insulated, right? This is not, it's brand new. This is brand new, remember? This is not insulated. They put a little piece in there, like I say, there's like aluminium foil or something. I don't know what they use, but it's like, you know, a little piece of aluminium. They should insulate. All guitars should be insulated in the factory, you know what I mean, as standard, right? But it's the best advice. And then go on YouTube, check out how to insulate your guitar, you know what I mean, okay? Right, anyway, I'm going to show you the difference it makes, right? This is completely fresh, never been insulated, right? I'm going to turn the volume up, right? I'm going to aim the camera at my speaker, okay? So you don't have to listen to me, right? You don't have to look at me. And you can hear the camera, you can hear the, you know, I'll actually lower the camera down, actually. Get the legs down. Sorry there's no edits in this, folks, but I can't edit high-def videos on my computer, you know? That's why I put them up raw and there's all, like, you know, a bit like, people might say it's a bit long, isn't it? You know what I mean? You got the time, haven't you? Lockdown. You got the time. Got the time on you, buddy. Alright, now, let's aim the camera up slightly, right? Here's my guitar, right? I am now going to turn the volume up, right? Both pickups are on, right? It could be, I'll flick through all, yeah, I'll do it with all of them, right? Listen to this, listen to the noise of this, right? There we go. Because I took my hands off, right? Right? Put my hand on, watch this. It stops. Right, now I'll aim the camera at the speaker so you can hear it better, right? Because the microphone on the camera's aimed at it, right? And what I'll do is you should still hear my voice, you know. Can you hear my voice? My head. Right, there's my speaker there, alright folks? Let's just get me monitor there, right? That's what I'm plugged into, okay? I'm using this. I'm using a distortion pedal through my Zoom, or you know, my Zoom for the distortion switched on. You know, it's like with more distortion, the more noise, right? Okay. Right, hands off, completely hands off. Right, I'm going to flick it into the bridge pickup. Still exactly the same, right? Flick it into the middle, both pickups together. Okay? You hear that? If I touch the bridge, you know, when you're playing, it stops. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's still picking up interference, right? Take my hand off the bridge. Right now, the neck pickup, exactly the same. Put my hands on the strings or the bridge. See, I've just put my hands on the strings there, right? Just took my hands off. You hear all that interference? My cables are shielded. You know, the good quality cables. Right, I just touched the bridge one more time. Now, that's how bad that is. I'm now going to back the volume off. Now the volume's down on the guitar, no noise, right? Turn the volume up. Just listen to that. Now if I start playing, you can hear that's creamy, isn't it? Like, you know. It's silent, isn't it? It's silent when I'm playing. Right, hands off, like, because you could be in a circumstance where you're playing live in front of a crowd and you want to, like, I don't know, you know, where you shake hands with people or whatever, and you take your hands off your guitar, and now imagine if you're going through a Marshall full whack or something, you know, like a 100-watt Marshall or something in a pub or something, it's going to go beep. Do you understand? Right, it's okay, put my hands on it, silence. Right, I'll touch another part of the guitar. See, I'm now touching the switch or the jack plug socket. See, make contact with it, it stops. But you ever come to a circumstance, right, I'm going to aim the camera around now. Right, you ever come to a circumstance where you know, you could be going like this to the crowd or something, like, thank you. Or, you know, you do that, like, you know what I mean? And then you go like that. The noise stops, you start playing. Alright, now, that's an unshielded guitar, right? Totally unshielded. Right? I'm going to plug Blackie in now with the exact same setup, not going to change nothing. Let's see the difference. I only tested this before, you know, because I was thinking, I wonder if that shielding actually works, you know what I mean? Because it took a long time to shield me black, you know, the black one, like. Took a long time. Okay, volume down, unplug, listen to that, like. See, they're like aerials, mate. Oh, what's that, like? What? That's something in my brain. See the difference? Wow, it's different at the back, look. Alright. Now here's the difference, right? Is it worth shielding your guitars? Is it worth shielding your guitar? Here we go. Welcome to Bruce's Guitar Corner. And this has got gauge 8s on it, mate. This has got gauge 8s on it, and it feels beautiful. Do you understand? They're a bit rusty, the strings, they're a bit used, do you know what I mean? They're worn in. Right, but this thing's got gauge 8s. That's why that guitar felt so good. That's that message to my nephew anyway. Alright, we're going to turn the volume down on this. Plug the lead in, right? Same lead, same guitar, the volume's down at the moment, right? Now, I'll move the camera back a bit so you can kind of like, you know, sort of hear the sound of it. Like, don't need to see my knees, I'm wearing shorts. I don't need to see my knees. Right, right. What's the difference? Turn the volume full up. Listen to that. Right? Look. Obviously I haven't got 2 pickups, right? But Take both hands off. It's silent. I'll just aim the camera there so you can hear it. No noise at all, right? Volume and tone full up. Obviously needs tuning, but hands off, right? Hands off, both hands off the guitar. Is that amazing or what? Right? I've got nothing else to say. It's silent, but I've shielded it big time. I made sure it's coppered in all the cavities inside of it is shielded, right? Now is that an amazing difference, right? Compared to, let's unplug this. Plug the red one back in again, right? Plug it in again. Okay, my hands are on it. Volume's up full. Hands are on it. Hands off. Hands on. Off. Okay? So there you go, guys. That's a valuable lesson. A valuable lesson, right? The difference. I'm glad that guitar wasn't shielded, so I could make a comparison. You know what I mean? I was thinking, hang on, I've shielded my Strat. I've got a Strat. Yeah, I don't know what. I'll dig that out another. Like I say, I'll do a little lesson about that. Like, you know, my black Yamaha. I've got a Yamaha Stratocaster, which is a cheap guitar. It's gauge 8 strings on it, mate. Sounds amazing, feels amazing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. I think I've made my point. Shield your guitars. It makes a massive difference. If you're playing in a pub through a full PA system with a Marshall cranked up or whatever, and you take your hands off that guitar and it's not shielded, it's going to be like, bang! Everyone in the audience is going to be like, whoa, what's that noise, you know? Yeah, man. Cheap guitars are never shielded. You've always got to do it yourself. Alright, thanks for watching. Anyone's got any questions below? Any questions about guitars? Anyone's got any issues, any questions? I'm 55 years old, right, folks? I'm like the best advisor on the earth for, like, if you got it on a low budget, okay? Cheap budgets, anything cheap, effects, pedals, plectrums, strings, straps, everything. Leather, chains, whips, straps. That's a joke. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope I proved my point to you. The difference between an unshielded and a shielded guitar. Play safe. Don't do slugs.